7:30 on a Saturday morning? That's bizarre. Why on earth would we be getting up so early? Well, there is a huge yard sale that goes on in Columbia today, apparently. They take the farmers market and they do away with the farmers for a Saturday, and they invite everyone to come and sell their junk. And today is that day, and it starts at 8. So we're going to go buy some junk. Hopefully some good junk. Hopefully some good junk that looks like this or this. I mean, maybe this, but probably not. Well, that was sad, I guess. Actually, when we were walking up, there was a kid hauling a box with a GameCube and a ton of games out, and I was like, son of a gun! We missed it. In the immortal words of my grandfather, bunch of dug-gun stinking junk. That's what he would say. Because the other one was such a bust, we came to Metro. We've never been here on a Saturday or at 9, so maybe things will go better for us.
Trailer for I emptied I've sold 3 of them. I've got a bunch of these. I fill them up.
I got a boxed copy of Populous, which was kind of neat. The cart's in like perfect condition, and it was in the box with all the inserts and stuff. And the box itself looks like it's kind of been beat up over the years, but I was really only interested in the cart. I don't think Populous is worth all that much money anyway, but I don't think I had it. And the guy wanted $5. Well, he told me to make him an offer, and I said 5, and he said, I'll do 7, and I said, I'll do 5, and he was like, okay. Seriously, you have a boxed copy of Populous on your table. When are you ever going to sell that? Anyway, I also bought sports titles, which is really weird, but I did. There was a guy selling a bunch of Super Nintendo games in great condition, and I looked over him and I was like, sports. And he's like, you're not really into sports games? I was like, not really. He's like, I'm doing 2 for $3, and I was like, because I don't have them, you know. It's just I don't ever buy them because they're mostly worthless. And I was like, okay, I'll do 2 for $3. So he had 2 there. I think I got Super Tecmo Bowl and NCAA basketball. So anyway, also Mal saw a Game Gear, and she saw it and I didn't see it. It was a case, like one of those gigantic cases for the Game Gear. And I was like, I wonder if it's in it. So we opened it up, and the Game Gear is in there with 4 games. I don't remember exactly what all the titles were, but it was like Sonic 2, some baseball game, some vampire game. And I asked the woman what she wanted for it, and she said $20, which seemed pretty fair to me. The Game Gear was a little beat up. And also I opened up the battery compartment, and the batteries had been in there for a long time. The little corrosive acid was coming out, and I was like, yeah. And I don't know, Mal was like, let's just, pass it up. It didn't come with like any of the cable to plug it into the wall or anything. The woman said charging cable, but the Game Gear didn't charge, as far as I'm aware. I wasn't a Sega kid, but I'm pretty sure it didn't charge. It was just
a DC adapter.
Yeah, if you wanted to play it at home. Anyway, we passed it up. It was $20. The woman said if I brought batteries back, I could test it to make sure it worked, because that was pretty much my thing. It was like, if the thing doesn't work, I'm out $20. So, maybe some other time. Anyway, the terrible looking games you saw was the same games whenever Emil was here, and we took him to the flea market, and the guy was like, that's the mystery game. Anyway, we went back and looked at the games, and this time we really perused. I mean, really looked through what he had. He's got hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars worth of games there, and they're all worthless. Worthless, because they're gross. Honestly, it was one of those situations where by just touching the games, you feel like you need to get a shower. It's terrible. And he had really rare games. He had, like, the Romance series. I've only ever seen the Romance series in person like 2 or 3 times, and that was one of them. I mean, it's just, he had some pretty good stuff. He had Kirby Superstar, the Mario games, but the prices on them are ridiculous. Like the carts that are super, super beat up, like you just saw, he wants like $30 for. He wants like more money than they're actually worth, and the carts are in terrible condition. Some of them are so warped that they wouldn't even fit into a Super Nintendo. So I was genuinely curious. I mean, he has tons of games, like hundreds of games for all the systems, and all of them look like garbage. All of them. So I was genuinely curious, and I walked up to him, and I never talked to anybody, so it was really out of character, but I walked up to him, and I was like, I'm not trying to be rude. I said, I'm genuinely curious. I said, a lot of your games are in just really, kind of poor condition. I was just wondering why, why why so many of them are in not that great condition. He's like, it's because they're 25 years old. And I'm thinking, well, actually, they're not 25 years old. And he was like, you know, they're really old. You know, it makes sense that they're in such bad condition. I really wanted to know. Like, I wanted to know what the guy was doing that made the games look like garbage. And he said, you know, then he got completely defensive and really upset and really mean. And he was like, I like him that way. He's like, you got any other nice things you want to say to me? And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I was just, you know, I was really curious. And, you know, what I really wanted to say was, you know, you're friggin' lunatic because you're going to charge $30 for a $20 game, and the game
won't even sit in the car.
The game won't even fit, and it looks like garbage, and you're insane, and I bet you don't sell any of this garbage. You know, you're lucky to sell your stinking, gross-looking condoms that have been sitting out in the rain for, you know, 2 years. That's what I wanted to say. So, I don't know, I was probably rude.
He even had one of those, like, glass cases that you put, like, the nice things in, with a bunch of DS games.
Yeah. What the heck? He had DS games and Game Boy games, and they also looked bad. And they were in a case, and it was like, what happened? I mean, like I said, it was probably rude of me to even bring it up, but at the same time, I really did want to know. So, and also, it's some guy at the flea market. I really don't care what he thinks of me. But, man, that was I don't know. Yeah, I looking back, it was probably rude to be like, hey, your stuff sucks. Why? But I tried to approach it as nicely as possible, but
it was sad. That's what it was.
I think that's why I said something.
I felt offended as a gamer that these games were in such bad condition.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't really a poor reflection of the guy. And I told him that. I was like, it's not that I'm upset at you or, like, you know, I think that it's your fault. I was like, I was just curious, like, because, you know, he's buying and selling them and trying to sell them for more money, but, like,
were they like that when he got them?
Yeah, like,
did he accidentally leave them in the rain?
Yeah, I really wanted to know that. And instead of just telling me and being honest, because I'm sure that he probably got them in that condition and is trying to sell them, but I just wanted to know, like, if he knew what happened to them. And, man, he got mad. He got really upset. And I was like, have a good one. See ya. So, anyway, now we're at the other flea market, so maybe we'll find something here. Well, this actually worked out a lot better. When we first got in, we're walking around, there was this kid who had, like, tons of these little Pokemon figurines, like, probably 100 or so. And I walked up, and I was just kind of pointing and saying some of the names, and the kid, like, perked up, and he was like, do you know this one? And I was like, yeah, you know, Weedle. You know this one? That's Beedrill. You know this one? Uncle Fairy. And I was just naming them. And he'd get to a few from, like, the later generation and be like, I don't know that one. And then eventually I was like, I just started going through all the ones I knew. I was like, this is this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And he was really impressed. He was really cute, and he was, you know, trying to sell these things.
He was like 8.
Yeah, he was young, and we actually chatted up Pokemon, and he said, what about this one? I was like, that's Magikarp. He's like, what level does Magikarp evolve? And I was like, 20. And he was like, that's good. Anyway, he was cute, and I was like, we should buy some of these from him. So they were only 2 for $1. I was like, well, let's get some. So I got Ivysaur, little Ivysaur.
The Colossus from Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes, every Colossus. And Mal wanted Abra. So now we have Abra and Ivysaur, and I'm not really sure where they're going to sit. They kind of connect, sort of. Abra gets to ride around on Venusaur's back. I found another person selling video games in there. And normally the people that are selling video games ask
only video games?
Ask ridiculous prices. This guy, most of his stuff was like, some of it was fair, and then some of it was fair plus, like it was a few extra dollars. I was like, eh. But he had a copy of Alone in the Dark, the new Nightmare, and the guy wanted $20 for it, and I was like, hey, could I get it for just a little cheaper? He's like, yeah, I'll give it to you for $15. I'm not 100% sure what it's worth, so I am going to go home and check and see what this thing is really worth. After our flea market runs for the day, we stopped at one more place that we hadn't been to. It's a local mom and pop type video game shop, and I picked up a Game Genie for Super Nintendo because I actually did not have one. So now I can enhance my video games from glue. Now we're back at the house. I've had to lose my shirt because it's really stinking hot in here. I mean, I have the air on, but it's not getting cool enough fast enough. Mallory made, this is chicken cordon bleu, right?
It's chicken cordon bleu casserole.
Casserole. It's covered in cornflakes. Remember the other day whenever I was like, man, why are you buying cornflakes? Did I say that on the blog? I don't remember. Anyway, she bought cornflakes, and I was like, why are you buying cornflakes? She's like, for chicken cordon bleu. I was like, that's odd. Well, this is it. It looks, I mean, it looks pretty good. It just looks a bit weird. I gotta admit, that looks pretty good. I really wasn't expecting the cornflakes to add anything. That's pretty good, kid.
Okay.
You did well. Cornflakes are a little weird. Kind of wish you would have used Frosted Flakes, but I'll adjust. I'll adjust. Anyway, that's actually going to be it for today. Tomorrow, my parents are coming to town. I'm finally going to get a stinking haircut because I've needed one for a long time. And there will be fun and joy and festivities and stuff, blah, blah, blah. So thank you guys for watching, and let's meet back tomorrow, shall we? I winked. I just think it's funny. Like, I never do that. Like, yeah. I'm going to start doing that.